Jada doesn't really talk that much. He's more a reserved person.
Yeah.
But Joe, big personality.
For sure. Legendary storyteller. Top
sure.
5 in hip hop?
Storyteller? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
So, okay. So he said that most rappers, including them, live paycheck to paycheck. Right? And the way he explained it was like,
that broke my heart.
There's bills, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's bills. Your kids go to private school. Man, you got to buy a new crib. You know, something happens in life, and you got like, and then he went to some unnecessary expenses, but like, you buy a $200,000 chain, you buy $100,000 watch, you got to maintain lifestyle creep.
Is that unnecessary? And maybe a part of the rapper lifestyle.
It is part of the rapper lifestyle,
unfortunately,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that is necessary.
Yeah.
Right. But I get it. Wardrobe, you got to stay. You got to keep your image up. Let's just say that you got to keep your image up. So how you feel about that?
When I first heard it, I was like, Joe. But I remember me and J1 was on Spaces maybe 6 months ago, and we were just doing a breakdown of how quickly you can go through $1 million. And I know it's not financially sensitive to say, but if you're like my dad will always tell me, if you're not a good steward of the money, happy birthday to my dad too. Love you dearly.
Happy birthday.
I appreciate you so much for all that you sacrificed and all the game you gave me.
Oh,
but he said, he said, if you're not a good steward of that money, it doesn't matter the amount that you have, it can go away really quickly. So while it may seem insensitive, regardless of income level, like Mike Tyson went through 300 million. Now you can say Don King probably helped him spend some of the money, but when I took a moment to think about it, helping people, we can talk about that later. People owing you money. Joe has talked about his tax situation. I can see it. And because you're not getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, or you're not doing a show every weekend. So sporadically the money's coming in. You may have $60,000 or $70,000 in bills, and then you're behind for 2 months. So I can see it. I just wish more rappers would let us help them. Because to be very frank, I've had the most pushback from artists when it comes to the investing advice. And you would think they would be into it a lot more given the issues that they have with the labels, but it feels like they like to be on the hamster wheel or the cycle of getting the money fast and blowing it fast. But what do you think?
Yeah, that's why, we're going to get to the messy conversations and all that later, but this is a good financial discussion because I always say you got to force yourself to save money. And when I say save money, really invest money, right? Because that's the only way you actually ever going to have some level of cushion so you don't live paycheck to paycheck, is that you actually have a nest egg invested, right? And because when I look at a rapper, I look at them as an independent contractor. That's how I look at it. They don't have health insurance. They don't have taxes that are taken out of their paycheck. They don't have a retirement plan. So you got to set these things up for yourself. So you got to force yourself to open up a SEP IRA, right? And put money into it. You got to force yourself to put, if you're getting paid $50,000, put $20,000 into a brokerage account. Don't touch it. Act like it's not even there anymore. Because if not, you're going to find ways to spend money. Like and I have a strong suspicion that the vast majority of rappers don't have retirement plans, don't have brokerage accounts, right? I just have that. That's just my suspicion. So if you don't have things where you're forcibly putting money away, you're going to find ways to spend the money. That's just a fact, right? So, and that just goes for anybody in life. You have to find ways to force yourself to put money into something, because if not, no matter how much money you get, you're going to have some money in your bank account, right? But that's not going to be enough to sustain you for long periods of time, most of the time. Or you'll be one of those people that just have, a lot of money in the bank account and just doing nothing.
Yeah. And just because you can afford something doesn't mean that you actually can't afford it. Like, it's tough. It's an exercise in discipline to put that money away, allocate it properly. And I'm not saying people shouldn't have nice things, but it's the nice thing for the moment. Like I can name 15 or 20 rappers that were really fly when we grew up. Where I look at them now and I'm like, damn, if you would have put some of that money just into Apple, Google, anything, you would not have to be on the road as much. So, but I do want to commend them for being open and honest and not being guarded in this answer and being very upfront about it to be a lesson to other artists and end up influencing our kids.
Yeah.
The rap music business may be the biggest Ponzi scheme in urban America ever, though.
Somehow the rap game reminds me of the crack game. Yeah, it is
insane.
It is.
I mean, back then when they were selling actual physical CDs for $12 a pop, and Joe was moving 500,000 to 1.2. Talk about a racket on that music side. My Lord. But what do we know? Kudos to Joe and Jada.
Shout out to them.